Hello and welcome to Edublush Visual Academy. My name is Paul Sigonya. I would like to present to you our online lesson management platform, which is unlike any. Our online lesson management platform mimic a real class. I am saying this because yes, learners and teachers can do exactly what they do in their class using our platform. Why I'm saying this is because we know that in normal class, the teachers don't just pick up anywhere in the book and teach and decide when they do what, when to give the classwork, when to give the homework, and when to do the test. What they actually do is that in the first, they will teach the class, give the introduction. The class, which is that lesson, will be belongs to a certain topic. So when they finish up with the class, they will give a classwork or a homework, which are the questions that are based on that particular lesson that the teacher just gave and presented to the learners. Then the following lesson will follow up the previous one, so on and so on. Those lessons complete will make up a topic. When that is complete, then the teacher will give in a test or series of tests. All those tests with the homeworks will make up the questions that the teacher wants to give based on that topic, so that the learner now have done a complete work in that topic. Then that will be repeated with other topics and topics until all the topics are finished. And then when all the topics are finished, then the teacher will then do revisions. Then after revisions, then that's where the learners are ready for examination. That is basically what I know that what is done. Now, on our Edublush platform, we don't just create video lessons that are randomly available for learners just to decide which one to look at, or we don't just do exam preparation as normally many other platforms do exam preparations and revisions. So we do actual lessons that the teacher could do in the class, and after the learners access the video lessons, they then have to do activities. And all the learners are managed in a linear format, which means the learners cannot jump and take any lesson from wherever they feel like. So they have to go through a series of lessons in a linear format. Now, with that said, let me take you into our lesson management module. At the current moment, I'm in a module where the teachers use, we call it a work area for the teachers. This is the module where the teachers actually do their classes. So now, come with me as I'm taking you to our lesson management module. All right. Now, when the learner log in, they will be taken to their profile. This is what's called their profile. So this is how it looks like. So on your profile, except that we also included a little bit of what is social media like. This is because of it is a format that many learners are used to. So when they log in their profile, they won't get lost. So this is their cover page, which they could change. It could also be look like their school if they're under the school. And here they will put in their profile picture. So they could also make friends in our platform and normally change messages and discuss other things. But the major of the discussion is done under discussion group. So a group could be a school, it could be a district, or it could be a number of group of schools. So when a learner is under a school, let's say Mamelodi High, so this will be a group for Mamelodi High, which means all the discussions that are happening here will be the discussion that only the learners of Mamelodi High could see and have access to. So I will show you as we go to the end what is a more important of this discussion forum, but mainly let's go into our lessons. So we'll come back to this discussion forum. So right under the profile of a learner, they will find in a dashboard. So the dashboard is basically just like we double this from the dashboard of a car. That's what gives you exactly what is it that is happening on the learner's subject learning. Now here, as you can see, currently we have mathematics, physics, accounting, and life science. So this shows that this learner have done 16% of the available work under life science, 9% under physics, and only 1% under mathematics, and 0% under accounting. So right in here, all the learners under a certain group, let's basically say group is like a school. So the class teachers will have access to see each and every individual profile of a learner. So this is the same as a teacher taking up the book of a learner and see how much work did the learner do. That is not only for the teachers, but it's also for the learner. What it means that whenever a learner log in and go to physics, so they don't just come up and go and start from anywhere. So the platform will take them immediately exactly where they left off the last time when they were working on the platform. So this means that whenever they open up, so they cannot just go anywhere. As I mentioned that, so it guides them. It guides them, it shows their progress and how far. So also, now I'll take you off on what we call, this is the full work area. That is where now the learner do exactly their work. As you can see, we have a progress here. This progress here basically shows up the progress of mathematics entirely. As you can see, it's a 1%. It's also the same, confirming what it was shown here as 1%. So, and then now here it shows all of the lessons that are available under mathematics. Every lesson is under a topic. All right. Now, as you see here, I'm under the topic functions and graphs, and this is lesson number 1. As I mentioned at the beginning, that our platform uses a linear format, so which means the learner cannot jump and do everything. So all the learners are pegged and put in the way that the teacher understands that for a learner to understand a certain topic, they have to start with this topic, and in that topic, which of the lessons they must do first, so that they could progress in understanding the content of that subject. Now, what happened here, I'm just going to show, if the learner decided while I've done 1% of the work, I just want to jump in and do lesson number 17. That's immediate. That's where our platform will show that you need to go back and do the previous lesson because you haven't done the previous lesson. So this is one of how we manage the learning process of the learners in our platform. So now, if also they decide, okay, I'm just going to leave the entire topic, I'm not happy with it, I'm going to jump to trigonometry. They haven't finished up our first topic, which is functions and graphs under mathematics. Then it will also tell them you haven't finished up your topic here. Go up and do the previous topic. So that is part of how we mentioned, as I said, that our platform manage the lessons in a way as the teachers will do in the class. Now, what happens if, let's go on, and the learner now says, okay, now I want to go on and do my the lesson as the way I need to do. So this is lesson number 1 under functions and graphs. When they're done, then they could go to the lesson number 2. If that lesson was not done, you see that the difference between lesson number 1 and 2 is that this one doesn't have next lesson but marked as complete. So if the learner haven't watched this video and they click on this, at the current moment, we have reduced the control that the learner could now just click on this button and then it will take them to the next lesson. In actual fact, we can put it under this button under control such that until the learner watch the entire video, this button will never appear. And then it can also automatically, after they watch a percentage of this video, is then that the platform will automatically mark this lesson as complete under that particular learner. So now we have we have relaxed the controls here, as many of our learners at the moment complain that they are lessons that they've already done, so it was holding them down instead of them continue and do the work that they want. So as learners, children these days control the parents, learners are control the teachers. So we end up accepting that, okay, we will remove the control and give them the control to them so that they could mark this and mark the learner lessons as complete. But that is still the same way as we wanted, even though we wanted little bit of more control. Now that I've explained a bit of that, now let's go and see how then the teachers do the actual work, how that the lesson looks like. So now every lesson, the teacher obviously give an introduction of that lesson just as much as they do the introduction in the class, explaining what are the expected outcome of the lesson, what is it that is going to they are going to talk about in that lesson in that way. And then when they are done, then they continue to give the actual content of the class. Now I'm going to take you a little bit here on one of the lessons, the actual one that I've opened up, and show you that I'm going to play it a little bit so that I can move forward on the other on my presentation. Now, before I do that, I would like to also mention that our platform is developed in a format called mobile first, which means it is developed in a way that the content are viewable and usable on the mobile phones and then extended to the computer. So even though now here you can see that this looks a little bit small, you can expand it by just making it bigger on your mobile phone. You can actually even zoom it. Even after it fill up the screen, you can still zoom it if it's not so visible, depending on that. Now, having said that, let me just play a little bit of this for some seconds so that I could take you to the move on to that.
For the exponential, you did this, let H, the exponential form. Okay, right. Let's look at the exponential form. The exponential form, say if I'm given a number like 32, in exponential form, I can write it as 2 to the power of 5, where 32, this 32, we call it the number, right? And 2, we call it the base. This is the base, okay? And 5, we call it what? The exponent. Okay, if I raise the base to the power of 5, then I'll get my number here. That is basic. This is what we did in the.
Okay, now, as my intention now is not basically to go through all the lesson. What I wanted to show you is that now, as you can see, the difference between the introduction, when the teacher gives the introduction, and when they do the actual lesson. Now here we remove the video because we need the learners to concentrate on what the teacher is saying and what they are writing on the board. Now, the next thing on our platform that is one of the best features is that as normal, when the teacher is teaching in the class, many learners have to be divided into thinking, do I take the notes? Do I pay concentration on what the teacher is saying? And obviously we end up sharing that in between. Personally, I used to wish that I could have a way to copy all what the notes, as our teachers sometimes bring up their notebook. I wish I could copy all the notes and have them for myself without the writing, because I wanted to concentrate than to write. Now, what you have included here, as you can see, we also have a button that says lesson notes. We have a button that says activity and solution. What this means that, as you can see what the teacher was writing here on this board, as I was showing you, when I click the lesson notes, this is what you have. You can see that every word by word that the teacher was writing on the board is available. And if I right click, you can save this, and which means a learner could also print it. So which means that during the class, when the learner is watching our video lesson, they don't have to write the notes. There's no need for them to write the notes, because then the notes are available exactly the way the teacher was doing. We were here on an explanation form when the teacher was explaining 32 equals to 2 to the power 5, or exponent 5. Now, if when you are done after the learner have watched the video lesson and do some revision on the notes, then what follows is the activity. So in an activities, we have 3 formats of activities. The first one is what you call self-paced activity. So which means a learner will do it at their own speed. And then they could decide to do whatever they feel like to do. So now this activity means does not control the progression of the learner into the lessons. So the learner might not do the activity but still move to the next lesson, or they might do activity, they might get it wrong, whatever, but they do at their own time, at their own pace. Now, if I click on an activity here, you will see this is my notes, and then this is my activities. Now, on these activities, as you can see, it's functions and graph definition of logarithmic functions, activity 1.1. It started here, convert the following logarithm function, 5 to the power 3 equals to 125. Now they continue. This means now is the same as the activity that you find in the book, which means the learner have to take their Excel book and write these activities by themselves. But then also we provide the solutions of these activities. As you can see, by just merely clicking on this button, it will take them to the solution. As you can see, this is the first activity, 5.3 equals to 125. Converted into logarithmic function, which become log of 125 to the base 5 equals to 3. So now after the learner, which will take that, they will do the activities by themselves. After they do that, then they will go on and check up on the solutions and see how far they've done. And the next thing, they will click on the next lesson, which it will take them to the next lesson. Remember, if they have not clicked on this button, they won't be able to move to the next lesson. So the same way here, if in a particular school decide that we want the learners to watch the entire lesson before they could move to the next lesson. So we'll basically in that group make sure that this button is not available for the learners to click, but the platform will automatically progress them to the next lesson after they've watched the entire video lesson. So now, as I mentioned, that we have removed this as the learners that are using our platform now made some complaint, and then we end up moving that. So the next activity is what we call the second activity to say is what we call the automated activity. So in an automated activity, the teachers put in the questions, then the learner have to answer the questions in this format, and then when they are done, then the platform will mark automatically their script and give them which one they got right, which one they got wrong. And then also we put in that they have to get a certain percentage in order for them to move on to the next. So I think here I've done the activity here whereby I got 20%. After doing this activity, work energy and power activity 1.1, I got 20%. As you can see now here, you only have view questions, restart, and show leaderboard. The leaderboard is basically just to show, as you can see here, it's the average score is 52.5%, and I got 20%. So the leaderboard will show learner by number 1, number 2, so on and so on, who got by the number, who got more marks. So we have deactivated this one also as a number of learners to say that this is demoralizing, as they got a small percentage, others got high percentage. So, yeah, we also have deactivated that one. But this could be activated by a school. So if a particular school say we want all our learners to have a leaderboard, then we activate that for that particular school. And the next thing again is that you will see the message here that you cannot move to the next lesson or topic if you got less than 25% on this activity. If you did not get the minimum 25%, retake the activity. So as you can see now here, I have completed the lesson, I've completed the activity, but there's no button that I can click on to move to the next. There is no mark this as complete. Now, which means now I have only option is to restart and retake the activity. Now, after retaking the activity, here is the same activity, work, energy, and power, activity 1.1. Seems like I'm on the same. Okay, after retaking that and doing it, then I end up getting 80%. Now, voila, as you can see, the difference between this one here, which only have view question, restart, and show leaderboard. This one have the extra fourth button, which say click here to continue. Why? Because I got 80%. On the very same note here, actually, our pass mark here used to be 80%, which means the learner could not progress to the next lesson if they did not get 80% or more. So which means this button, for this button to appear, the learner have to get 80% or more. So we have reduced that to 25%, also because of the cry of the learner saying this is just too much for them. They repeat the activity again and again, and are not able to get the 80%, so they can't move forward. So we reduce that to 25%. Also the same again, if a learner belongs to a group or a school, that school wants them to get 90%, we can put 90%. 60 or 50%, you can put 50% for that particular school or for the group of learners according to the way they are. Excuse me there. All right. Now, what happened after they've completed that? Obviously, when they click on it, then it will just take them to the next lesson, and then the whole thing will repeat again and again. And as I said, in the real class, the teacher teach on in the class a lesson. After the class, there is an activity. After the activity, they move on to the next class. The next lesson, the following day also. After that, they do the same thing. After many number of activity lessons done, then there is a test. After the test, then they redo the same thing again. So now here, what we have in our platform is that at the end of every topic, we are able to put in an activity which is in an assignment form, which the learners have to write on the piece of paper and submit it. We can also open up what you call an edit box in where it will allow them to answer all their questions using up their smartphone or computer and answering them on the platform directly. So same way, if the learners don't get a certain percentage on that, they won't be able to move to the next topic. If they have to write it on a piece of paper and submit it, they won't be able to move to the next lesson until they submit. We have removed this also from our platform now, since we don't have teachers who can monitor all the learners that are using our platform at the moment to make sure. Why? It's because of once we put this at the end of a topic, the learner have to submit their work using this button that say upload here. They click on it, and then it will take whatever that they have written on, and then the teachers then have to approve that, okay, we have received your work. And then by me clicking on approving that, then the learner will have the button that moves them to the next topic. Basically, automatically, when the learner, the teacher approve that, then they will be on the next topic, which means when the next time when they log in, their button here will resume them. When they click on the button, if it was mathematics and they submitted, they were doing functions and graph, and they submitted their test. Immediately when the teacher approved their test, when they click on it, they click on this resume button, it will take them to the next topic. They won't start back to on the topic that they were doing at that time. So now that is our third activity on how we manage and control and direct the learners in working on our platform. So as I said, we have removed this as we did not have teachers who can monitor us now. All the learners that are using our platform are in one group, and obviously there are quite a number of them. At the moment, we have more than 500 learners that access and use our platform. So, but if we take them, group them, let's say 10, 20, 20, 50, 50, or 100, or even 200 by a group of school, then the teacher in that school become group leaders. Once the teacher become a group leader, that teacher have access to can see all the profiles of all the learners. And when they have access to see all the profile of all the learners, they can also see what they have submitted. And what they submitted, then they can mark their work and grade them and give, you get 60% on this test, 45% on this test, so on. And that way, our platform will automatically progress them to the next topic. So after that happen, it means the next topic will just happen the very same way as this one, as the first one that I was showing goes. Now, here the question would be, what happened when we have 2 or 3 schools or number of schools that are now using our platform, and then now the learners write the test and submitted the test. Now the group leader of school number A will have only the tests that were submitted by the learners in school number A. So the group leader of, or the school teacher of the class teacher of group number B will only have access the assignment or the work that was submitted by the learners of that particular school. So then when that marks their work and grade them, then those learners will be able to progress. So the learners of school number A won't be held down because of the school teacher of number B did not see their work. So it's the same way as the teacher who is working on school number A will mark the work of those learners. So that's simple in the same way. Now, how do the teachers then give the work to the learners so that they could answer the questions and submit it using this using our platform on this third activity. So that's where the forum again comes in. So in the forum under mathematics, under the topic functions and graph, then the teacher will write in a test, which they will write it looking like the same activity here, then submit it inside the forum, and all the learners will have access to the learner. The learners who belong to that particular school will have the access to that activity. They write it using their pen and paper at home. After that, they submit it, they scan it using their phone, submit it using our platform. The teacher have access to it, and then it allows them to progress to the next lesson. That's exactly what happened. But more on the forums is that now the teacher can also add whatever other additional material that they want to do. So there's much the same. The teacher will say, on this particular day, you must go on the platform Edublush and go watch lesson number 6. And after lesson number 6, I want you to do ABC. So that will be controlled by the teacher inside the forum. So those forums, the forum will depend, and the forum will belong to a group or to a school. Now, what is the difference between our forums and Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups? That on a WhatsApp group, as we know, everything that we post fall on top of another. So they pile on top of another. So you can imagine after 2 months, 3 months of discussion, all everything have fall on top of another. Whatever that the teacher has submitted, whatever that the learners have submitted, it just pile up on top of another. Now, to go and search something that's in the middle, it is just seriously not impossible, basically, but it will be difficult for that. Now, on using our forums, that everything that is discussed under the topic functions and graphs under grade 12 mathematics for that particular school belong into that. And if the learners want to go and check that, they will go into that under their forum mathematics grade 12, and they will go under their topic, and that topic, then they will search in that topic. That which means it's kind of same like filing. Everything is saved on under the topics, which is under the forums. So that is basically all or much about our platform Edublush, and then we are able to group learners in any format in any way, and we are able to get as much material as possible. So I'm not gonna go more than what I've said, and thank you for watching this. And if there are any other questions or anything that maybe I might have missed and not mentioned, you can ask that on admin@edublush.com. So thank you very much for watching this video. Bye-bye.